Who takes home the 2025 NBA MVP, SGA or Nikola Jokic?
I've said repeatedly on the show that I do think it should be Jokic. But again, this is head over heart. That's what I'm going for. And I'd rather be right when it comes to being accurate than saying, you know what, just because I feel like it, I'm going to pick one player. So I'm going to take the favorite. I'm going to take SGA because I think voter fatigue is a legitimate thing. We did that with Jokic already with the Joel Embiid thing. The Joel Embiid turned out to be just like a gimme. It didn't really matter because now we're seeing that he misses a bunch of games. He's not really putting up great numbers when it matters the most. He's a playoff choker. So it's like, okay, well, is he real? Did he deserve that MVP, or should we have given it to Jokic? And I think the universal thought is Jokic probably should have won that. Jokic is having his best statistical season of his entire career when it comes to points, rebounds, and assists collectively. And also 3-point, he's shooting over 41% from three. So you can't say he's having a down year. In fact, he's having an up year. But when it comes down to it, there's a reason why SGA is the heavy favorite. And that's because he's on a team that's won 68 games. He's been the best player on the best team. And the win difference between the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder is a grand total of, 18 games, I'm pretty sure? So if you have that disparity, that's massive. And I thought, when you looked at these spreads last year when it came to Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, I thought the point spread should have been much closer. That win spread was only a 7 difference. So it's a little bit different. And that year, actually, Doncic had, you could argue, better numbers. He averaged 33, 9, and 9. But I do think it is going to be SGA because historically, that's just the way the NBA has worked. 68 plus wins, you're going to win the MVP. Let's go down history, shall we? Stephen Curry, 2015-16, he won the MVP, and they won over 68 games. The 1995-96 Bulls, Jordan won the MVP, and they won over 68 games. The 1972 Lakers is a little bit different because Wilt and Jerry West both fought each other and took away votes, so Kareem ended up winning. I think the Bucks that year had 67 wins. But that's a interesting case because you had two serious MVP candidates, the number 2 and the number 3 place MVP vote getters in Jerry West and also Wilt Chamberlain. Speaking about Wilt, 1966-67 Sixers. Wilt won the MVP and they won over 68 games. And we actually have an instance where in my opinion, second best player of all time, Michael Jordan, he dealt with voter fatigue in 1997 when he won over 68 games and did not win the MVP. So when it comes down to it, that's just kind of what? I'm not sure who won in Karl Malone. He won in 1997. So when it comes down to it, it's kind of just how the NBA works. And these are the numbers for Nikola Jokic this season. They're actually incredible. He's a point center. So, I mean, he's doing things that really nobody has seen when it comes to being a center. Being the best passer in the NBA, at least as a big man. Being a tremendous rebounder, putting up tremendous amounts of points. Shooting 41% from three, 57% from the floor. I mean, he's being incredible. And also, what about SGA this year? 32 points a game. He obviously has fewer rebounds at 5. He's 6.4 assists. His field goal percentage is less and 3-point percentage is less. And this is just the comp between the two of them. So obviously, you could look at the numbers and say, well, Jokic is better. Well, we could say that about anybody when it comes to that. We could say that Embiid's numbers are always great. Luka Doncic should have won an MVP. And last year, it's the same thing as SGA this year, I think. The argument is essentially the same. Who's the most valuable player on arguably one of the best teams? Because last year, if I'm not mistaken, they were tied. The Denver Nuggets were tied with OKC last year at 57 wins, and I'll just fact check myself. Correct. The Denver Nuggets were tied as the number 1 spot. So there you go. The number 1 spot, the best player on the number 1 seed in at least the Western Conference when it comes to MVP favorites normally wins. And when it comes to 68 wins or more, you're going to win it. That's just what the case is. That does not take anything away from Jokic's season, and I do think we could all talk about eventually as history, progresses, did Nikola Jokic get robbed? Is this the greatest season a player's had and has not won the MVP? We could definitely have that discussion. I think at some point it'll come to fruition that probably, yeah, to be honest, yeah. But then we could also just take a look at NBA history and say, well, voter fatigue. That's all it is. LeBron should have won more MVPs. Michael Jordan should have won more MVPs. Look, you can look at any tremendous NBA player who put up great statistical numbers in a given season and say that player should have won the MVP because of X, Y, Z. But it comes down to it, SGA is not on a team that's having its worst defensive rating season of its franchise's history. like Nikola Jokic with the Denver Nuggets is. SGA has been a much better defender this season. He has more total win shares. He's much better defensively, like I mentioned. So when it comes down to it, SGA is on a team that's won 68 games. That's tied for the fourth best record in NBA history. He's scored 32 points a game. And we talk about the PER, which is interesting. You know, you go down sort of the advanced stats and you take a look at it. I'll say this right now. When it comes to, like, players that start a bunch of games, instead of the guys start 3 games and they get put on a leaderboard, talk about legitimate, full-time starters. Nikola Jokic has the best player efficiency rating in NBA history. More than LeBron, more than Jordan, more than Kareem, more than anyone, more than Wilt. Whatever you want to say, Nikola Jokic is number 1 in the NBA in PER. But this season, SGA has over 30 PER. The only other guard to do that this century is Steph Curry's unanimous MVP season in 2015-2016. So he's doing stuff that, or at least PER-wise, that has only been seen once this century. And so for all those reasons, we the minute things, and we could turn some screws here and there, polish it up a little bit to say, well, Nikola Jokic does X, Y, and Z. SGA can't. Yeah, I could argue that too. But then I'm also siding on the fact that voter fatigue is a legitimate thing. SGA's on a team that has won 68 games. He is the best player on that team. And normally, whether it's NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, the best player. And sometimes when it comes to MLB, recently, because Mike Trout, the Angels were never the best team in the MLB. Mike Trout was just a tremendous player. And he was, you could definitely say he was far above and away better than the next best player. So maybe that's not a great example. But Shohei has been the best player in the MLB, and the Dodgers were always tremendous. And you know what? He's a phenomenal player. But when it comes especially to the NFL, it's normally best player on the best team wins the MVP. And I think this will be, in this case too, SGA will win the MVP.
Mm-hmm. I tend to agree with you that the number of wins that OKC has and also the voter fatigue work against Jokic. And I do think that SGA is in the driver's seat for the MVP. But I really think that when you look at Jokic's stats this year, they're just incredible. It's just incredible what he's been able to do, particularly on a team where, they fired their head coach. There was dissension there. They fired their GM. The supporting cast behind Jokic, I think, probably not as strong as behind SGA. So, the MVP usually is the player that makes the players around him better. I think Nikola Jokic has redefined the game in terms of his position. He's a point center. He averaged a triple-double this year. Just amazing. So, Fox and ESPN are favoring SGA to win. I think the fact that's contributing to his selection, the best record, 68 wins for OKC. His stats, 32.6 points a game, 6.4 assists, 1.7 steals. His combination of scoring, team success, and all-around performance make him, I think, the leading contender. The winner is a player, and I think just looking at some of the criteria, the winner is a player who maintains a high level of performance, endures the rigors of an 82-game NBA schedule, which is not easy to do, shows up on a nightly basis, competes favorably against the better players, and helps his team win. The case for SGA, I mentioned his stats. His team won, and they won big. His team was dominant all season. They clinched the top seed in the Western Conference before April and did so by double-digit margin, double-digit wins, and his best argument and supposedly gives him an edge over Jokic. An MVP elevates his team in the following order. Finished as the league's leading scorer, can shoot effectively from everywhere on the floor. He has a 51.9% field goal percentage this year, uncommon for a guard. Led the NBA in 50, 40, 30, and 20-point games. He'll be a strong candidate for one of the all-defensive teams as well, which is something you don't get with very often with a player that is a big offensive threat. Michael Jordan would be the other one that you'd think of that was excellent both ways. SGA,
you're making my case for me. Keep going.
Yeah. He's among the league leaders in steals as well. The case for Jokic, 29.8 points a game, 12.8 rebounds, 10.2 assists. He averages a triple-double. If he's the runner-up, he's the best runner-up of all time in my estimation. Only Wilt Chamberlain in 1961-62 compares 50.4 points a game, 25.7 rebounds. They didn't keep the steal stat back then, but he likely would have had a triple-double counting steals if they were keeping track of it in that year. Jokic finished the season in the top 3 scoring. He was number 3, rebounds number 2, assists number 2, and steals number 2, which has never been done before. Never in the NBA's history. He averaged a triple-double and led the league in triple-doubles with 33. Top 25 in three-point percentage. Nobody has done this as well. He had a 30-20-20 game. He had a 60-point triple-double game. He's arguably a top 10 player of all time, and he's just 30 years old. It's hard to imagine a player topping what he just did. If it's done, it'll probably be done by him again.
I don't disagree with that, actually. I think what's funny is he needs to win more, but you could argue based on production alone, if you just talk about the player themselves and you take away the accolades, just him as a player, don't worry about championships for right now because he hasn't won enough. Him as a player and his solo performance, you could argue he's a top 3 center of all time. I don't actually think that's an absurd take.
Yeah, I'm saying he's a top 10 player. If you want to create a little bit of
a leeway, maybe top 5 center because, yeah, you can list off a bunch of tremendous centers in NBA history. We're talking about Shaq. You're talking about Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think Jokic deserves to be in that category. The only reason he can't be is because all those guys won multiple championships and multiple finals MVPs as well. So
that has something to do with the team that Jokic is
correct.
on.
When you don't have a single all-star teammate when they're playing for you in the entire
all kinds of
history
injuries all season. Yeah. With the second best player on the team hurt most lately and led to the firing of the coach. There's a lot of turmoil in that team, and it's unfortunate for him because if he had a supporting cast like Kareem had, right, or a supporting cast like Bill Russell had, or a supporting cast like Wilt Chamberlain had when he was on the Lakers, Jokic would be off the charts. He'd be winning the MVP every year. And Jokic has another factor going that none of these other centers had, a triple-double average for the year.
Only 3 players have done in NBA history.
More than 10 assists. More than 10 assists. What other center even comes close on the assist number, right? He's the distributor. He's the one controlling the scheme of the Nuggets. He's the one that's directing the offense. No other center does that. No other center's ever done that. He's redefined the game at the center position, and he's only 30 years old. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win more MVPs.
He should.
I'd like to see him. I'd like to see the Nuggets get their act together and put a supporting cast around him, like some of these other teams have, that could have him win 68 games.
Well, the issue
without much trouble.
Well, here's the big issue on it. They spent so much money in players that aren't massive impact players, and that's why, because we remember when they won the championship, we all talked about the tremendous depth that they have. Most of those key pieces left for bigger contracts because they couldn't afford them. They were cost cutting there. And now this is the team that Jokic is given. Jamal Murray never made an All-Star game. MPJ never made an All-Star game. Aaron Gordon never made an All-Star game. Russell Westbrook didn't make an All-Star game with the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, he's made it over the course of his career, but with the Denver Nuggets, he hasn't made it. So it's honestly, on many levels, embarrassing. And I think give it 2 years, maybe less, we'll hear some rumors about Jokic wanting out. I don't think that would be absurd to say. Because at some point, I would pound my fist and say, I've been the best damn player for the past 5 seasons. I'm at the top of NBA charts of all time. And yet I can only win one. Like I said this before I heard it from any other major network. This season and what he's been doing is what LeBron did in the early Cavs seasons, where he carried a team to the NBA Finals and then ended up getting swept by the superior San Antonio Spurs. Mm-hmm. That if he somehow makes the finals this season, that's exactly what it would be. That's exactly what the season would be.
It'll be him carrying them.
It would have to be him carrying the Denver Nuggets to the NBA Finals, which we've seen him drop 50, 40, 60, and they lose. That's the interesting. They're 2-5 in games I think he scores 51 points or more, 41 points or more. How? That's because you have nobody. It's Jokic or nothing. And that's not a recipe for success. LeBron did that in 2018 with the Cavs. They got swept by the Golden State Warriors, who had Klay Thompson. They had Steph Curry, Draymond Green. They had Andre Iguodala. They had Kevin Durant. They had everybody. And those are the teams that win.
Yeah.
The Nuggets won on Jokic playing well, Murray coming up big, Michael Porter Jr. having a couple good spots here and there, and their tremendous depth. You can't say that about this team, who really, it's Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when LeBron won the championship in Cleveland, they had
Kyrie hit the shot.
They had Kyrie, and they had Kevin Love. They had Kevin Love too, so they had a big three, and they had three elite players there.
I don't disagree.
And you look at the Nuggets, they got Jokic. That's about it.
Jamal Murray
could be. He has some great games. He
should be an all-star.
Yeah.
But again, the injury is a concern, and now you're going to the playoffs where it's a potential. He's expected to be back.
Are they a play-in?
No.
They're what?
I think they're the fourth seed of the
fourth
season.
Seed.
I'll double check. Yeah, they're the 4 seed, so
Four
they will
seed.
end up playing the Clippers.
Yeah, I think they could get by the Clippers.
The Clippers' recent performances, I don't feel that confident. I'm sure we'll talk about it on Friday's show.
Yeah.
But hi everybody, thank you for watching this clip of the Harvey Hour. If you want to watch the full show, you can by clicking the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to take the show with you on the go, it is available wherever you get your podcast. We go live here on YouTube every single Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a video and whenever we go live.